Hello again and welcome to lesson 14. Here we are, lesson 14, at least 2 weeks into the program. In the previous lesson we talked about getting a vision for your business. A vision is the big picture of where you want to go, and you need to have a vision, otherwise you won't be motivated, you won't have a clear direction for your business. However, a vision needs goals and plans to go along with it. Goals and plans are what bring your vision to life. Now, you should be setting goals in all areas of your life, but here we're talking specifically about your business goals. Last time I asked you to write down your vision for your business, and I know that you may have also added in some of your goals. As I didn't explain the difference clearly between vision and goals, that's quite understandable. So let me now clarify the difference between the two. Your vision is the big picture of where you want to go. It's looking at it from a distance. It's having a clear view of everything you want in life. And a goal is a marker or a milestone that helps you to get closer to your vision. As an example, your vision may be to have a fit, healthy, attractive body and to live a healthy, fun lifestyle, playing sports and share your life with the woman of your dreams, etc. And that's your big picture. Your goals may include such things as lose 15 pounds by September the 13th, start golf lessons tomorrow, lower my golf handicap by 2 strokes by October 31st. So, to recap, the vision is the big picture and the goals are the milestones along the way. Plans are the way that you set out to achieve your goals, but we're not going to be talking about plans today, as we're talking specifically about goals. When setting goals, I always recommend using the SMART formula. That's S-M-A-R-T. S stands for specific. So if your goal is about income, it's no good saying, I want lots of money. The goal should state, I have an income of $25,000 a month. This way you're going to know when you've reached your goal, and then you can set a new and more challenging goal. To set a specific goal, you must answer the 6 W questions. Who is involved? What do I want to accomplish? Where? Identify a location. When? Establish a time frame. Which? Identify requirements and constraints. And why? Specific reasons, purpose or benefits of accomplishing the goal. A simple example would be a general goal of, I want to get in shape. But a specific goal would say, join a health club today and work out 3 days a week. So M stands for measurable. Establish concrete criteria for measuring progress toward the attainment of each goal you set. When you measure your progress, you stay on track, reach target dates, and experience the exhilaration and achievement that spurs you on to continued effort required to reach your goal. To determine if your goal is measurable, ask questions such as, how much and how many? How will I know when it's accomplished? A stands for attainable. When you identify goals that are most important to you, you begin to figure out ways you can make them come true. You develop the attitudes, abilities, skills and financial capacity to reach them. You begin seeing previously overlooked opportunities to bring yourself closer to the achievement of your goals. You can attain almost any goal you set when you plan your steps wisely and establish a time frame that allows you to carry out those steps. Goals that may have seemed far away and out of reach eventually move closer and become attainable. Not because your goals shrink, but because you grow and expand to match them. When you list your goals, you build your self-image. You see yourself as worthy of these goals and develop the traits and personality that allow you to possess them. I always recommend that you break goals down into bite-sized pieces so that you don't set yourself up to fail. For example, a simple goal may be to wash the car, but maybe that's something you can put off. However, a goal to just clean the headlights is really too small to put off. And having cleaned the headlights, wow, I've achieved that, but why not do a bit more? Clean the windscreen, and then maybe the hood or the fender, or in the end the whole car gets washed. But you've done it by achieving small little goals leading to that big goal. R stands for realistic. To be realistic, a goal must represent an objective towards which you are both willing and able to work. It doesn't mean that you can't set goals that are outside most people's imagination. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't set goals that are a little bit scary. A goal can be both high and realistic. You're the only one who can decide just how high your goal should be. But be sure that every goal represents substantial progress. A high goal is frequently easier to reach than a low one, because a low goal exerts low motivational force. Some of the hardest jobs you ever accomplished actually seem easy simply because they were a labour of love. T stands for timely, sometimes tangible. A goal should be grounded within a time frame. With no time frame tied to it, there's no sense of urgency. If you want to lose £10, when do you want to lose it by? Someday just won't work. But if you anchor it within a time frame, by May the 1st, then you've set your unconscious mind into motion to begin working on that goal by that time. Your goal is probably realistic if you truly believe that it can be accomplished. As I said, T can also stand for tangible. A goal's tangible when you can experience it with one of the senses. That's taste, touch, smell, sight or hearing. When your goal's tangible, you have a better chance of making it specific and measurable, and so attainable. You should write down your goals. Keep them in sight and read them aloud at least 2 times daily. Once at the start of the day and just before going to sleep. This is important. There's a well-known Harvard study that was conducted, and they interviewed some Harvard students about what they hoped to achieve. 89% of them said they really had no specific goals. 8% of them said, yeah, they had specific goals. And 3% said they had specific goals that they'd written down. It was about 8 or 9 years later when they looked up all these students to see where they were. And 89% of them were doing okay. But the 8% that had goals were making twice as much as the 89% that hadn't got specific goals. That's how important goals are. But the 3% that actually had written goals were earning 10 times more than the sum of the income of the other 97%. Okay? That's how important it is to write your goals down. Keep in mind, you'll need to keep setting new goals for yourself as you build your business. As you continue with these lessons, it'll become more apparent what your goals should be. So write them down frequently as you go through the process and change them a little if they need adjustment. Goals are flexible. They're there to help you get where you want to go. But your vision is not flexible. That is the picture. That is where you're going. That cannot and must not be changed. It is not compromisable. Your goals are tools to get you there. Next, you're going to need to develop a plan for reaching those goals. And we're going to cover that in the next lesson. As always, you're welcome to post your questions and comments below. And also, write a goal out and put that in the comments. And I'll see you in the next lesson, where we're going to talk about getting the plan together to get those goals accomplished, to get you nearer to your vision. God bless.